अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। नमस्ते एवरीवन। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकि कोकिलम्। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वम् अरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। महाविद्ये महावाणी श्रुतिस्मृतिप्रदायिनी सरस्वती महादेवी जिह्वाग्रे मम तिष्ठतु। Namaste, good evening and a warm welcome once again to everyone. I feel very privileged to be here in front of all of you, sharing a little about what I know and about Ramayana across the globe. As we saw the title, Ramkatha across the globe. So as I would start my presentation, I would also be doing a screen share and Hindi or English में मेरा विषय रखने की प्रयास करूंगी. Please pardon me for any mistakes, grammatical mistakes in Hindi, as I'm not very good in conversing in Hindi. पर बीच में हिंदी लाने की प्रयत्न अवश्य करूंगी. As so saying, initially मेरी तरफ से एक presentation होगी रामकथा और रामकथा across the globe, विश्व में कैसा प्रभाव हुआ है रामायण का और रामकथा का. So as you are seeing here, today's session that we are talking about is influence of Ramayana across the world, Ramkatha across the globe. The moment we say Ram or Ramkatha, lot of things come in our mind. बहुत विचार हमारे मन में आता है. For me, two things I would like to say सबके लिए. रामायण और महाभारत हमारे लिए केवल एक एपिक नहीं, एक कथा नहीं, वो इतिहास है हमारे लिए. इट्स पार्ट ऑफ आवर लाइफ, जीवन का एक अंग हो गया है. कथा सुनते हैं तो राम से ही शुरू होता है और कृष्ण से हमारा काइंड ऑफ अंत नहीं बोलूंगी, चलता रहता है. सो रामायण इज फुल ऑफ आइडियल्स. रामायण रामकथा पूरा आदर्शों से भरा हुआ है. और महाभारत क्या है? इट्स फुल ऑफ मैसेजेस. हमारे जीवन में कैसा रहना है, मॉरल्स, ये करने से क्या होगा, ये नहीं करेंगे तो क्या होगा, ये सब हमको याद दिलाता है. और चेतावनी के रूप में, अनेक कथाओं के रूप में रामायण में और महाभारत में हमारे लिए सुनने को और इवन एक्सपीरियंस, अनुभूति करने को भी मिलता है. दैट बीइंग द केस, व्हाट इज रामायण? रामायण कैसे हमें याद रखने की आसान होगी? रामायण जैसे हम इतिहास में देखते हैं अक्रॉस द ग्लोब, जैसे मैं वर्ल्ड पर्सपेक्टिव ही देने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ. इट्स द ओल्डेस्ट पोएट्री. जैसे हम कविता बोलते हैं तो ये बहुत पुरानी कविता है शास्त्र के हिसाब से भी. और कितने हैं रामायण में? 6+1 खंडास, कांड जैसे हम बोलते हैं. सुंदर कांड हम सबको बहुत याद है, वेरी पॉपुलर भी है और इसको हम इतिहास भी बोलते हैं. हाउ इट गॉट स्टार्टेड, सो हु इज द ऑथर फॉर दिस, ये सब हम थोड़ा देखेंगे नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में. वाल्मीकि ऋषि, जैसे मैंने एक पहले श्लोका में बोला, वाल्मीकि ऋषि इज कॉल्ड एज द आदि कवि. So he composes the entire Ramayana. How he composes, little bit about him, let us know as we move forward. So Rama here, as Valmiki says, and the background about him is वो एक शिकारी थे, ऐसे ही हमें कथा सुनने को मिलती है. और एक बदलाव आया, रत्नाकरा उनका नाम था. जीवन में एक बदलाव आया and that transformed from Ratnakara to Valmiki, after which he started living in a hermitage, being very one with nature and everything. एक incident होता है where he sees two birds enjoying, male and female. एक बर्ड को एक और व्याध जैसे हंटर ने मार दिया. He immediately chants a shloka which is in Anushtuk meter, 18 syllables in Sanskrit grammar. Immediately Narada comes there and tells him, you have to compose Ramayana. Now he says, before that lot of questions keep coming. See, most of our work, हमारा पूरा साहित्य प्रश्न से ही उद्भव होता है. The first question he asks Ramayana is what is Mula Ramayana? We also call it as Shatashloki Ramayana. So the first question Valmiki asks Rishi Narada, actually Narada whom we consider to the present day generation, I would say he is the first media person, one person who passes news to the entire globe. So first journalist, I would say, first media reporter, news reporter, everything. The person I can think of, or many of us can think of, is Sage Narada. So here वाल्मीकि पूछते हैं एक श्लोक के रूप में, कौन्वस्मिन् साम्प्रतं लोके गुणवान् कश्च वीर्यवान् धर्मज्ञश्च कृतज्ञश्च सत्यवाक्यो दृढ़व्रतः. ऐसे he lists 16 qualities which can be present in a human being, for which Sage Narada says एक एक गुण रहने से ही बहुत मुश्किल से होता है, बहुत कठिन है, और आप 16 गुण के बारे में पूछ रहे, फिर भी ऐसा एक व्यक्ति है. एंड ही नरेट्स वेरी ब्रीफली in 100 verses the Mula Ramayana, which is the first kanda in Valmiki's Ramayana. This 100 shlokas further gets expanded to 24,000 shlokas by sage Valmiki, Rishi Valmiki. And as I was telling you, it is the epic of ideals. रामायण में क्या है? एपिटोम ऑफ आइडियल्स. और राम एंड सीता, दे बोथ आर द हीरो एंड हीरोइन, द वॉकिंग पाथ ह्यूमंस ऑफ आइडियल्स. तो व्हाट इज राम? डेफिनेटली मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम. सोचते हैं तो राम ही हमारे मन में, हमारे आंखों के सामने आता है. पर्सोनिफिकेशन ऑफ वुमनहुड, क्या क्या है वुमनहुड, यानी वो स्त्रीत्व में, वो सब हमको सीता देवी में मिलता है देखने की और अनुभूति करने की. So as I was talking to you about Valmiki's life story, that is a transformation he goes through in life. He was a hunter and he meets Sage Narada only to transform himself, and how he transforms his whole life is a very good example for all of us. So in our tradition, the not just tradition, in our Bharatiya knowledge systems, no one was graded or discriminated by caste. They were all respected by their endeavors, by their achievements, by their capacities. उनका योग्यता कोई जाति से नहीं होता था, उनके सामर्थ्य से होता था. मूविंग ऑन. तो रामायण में क्या है? बहुत आदर्श है, और सर्विंग गॉड और सीइंग गॉड इन पेरेंट्स ज्यादा होता था. तो दशरथ का थोड़ा हम जीवन चरित्र देखते हैं, तो हाउ ही श्रवण कुमार, इफ यू सी द पिक्चर, he took his parents around तीर्थ यात्रा कराने के लिए, and how he gets killed by Dasharatha. But look at our style of looking outlook towards life. हमारा दृष्टिकोण जीवन के सम्मुख कैसा था? This one boon becomes a blessing for Dasharatha, as Dasharatha was craving for children because the kingdom has to be run. Then one rishi comes and asks him, I think, did you get any sharp from anybody? And that's when he remembers the curse or the a sad wish from Shravana Kumara. Immediately this rishi says, that means that curse goes like this. You will definitely, the parents of Shravan Kumara say, the way we are going through Putra Viyog, you will also go through. This gets converted to kind of blessing. Immediately that rishi says, if you have to go through Putra Viyog, that means you should have Putra. You need to have children first. And that's how Ram, all others are born through this Putra Kameshti performance. Even this is not looked up to as rituals. That's the reason, friends, मेरी एक विनती है, रिक्वेस्ट भी है कि हम सबको ओरिजिनल्स पढ़नी चाहिए. जैसे ओरिजिनल रामायण है, we can always get original with our regional language, Hindi, Kannada, Marathi, Assamese, Tamil, translation. And when we read the original is when we will get the crux of this entire Ramayana. So here, the Putra Kameshti Yajna is not just a performance. It is a whole treatment in today's world. The way we look up to how infertility was treated was addressed in this Putra Kameshti Yaga. And fulfilling the dreams of parents is what we were saying, right? Entire thing is reflected in Shravana Kumara's story. ideals towards our duty towards parents. अभी irony ही है, हमारे में से बहुत लोग हैं जो वृद्धाश्रम जाते हैं, वहां सर्विस करते हैं, एक वृद्धाश्रम ओपन भी करते हैं, खुद के पेरेंट्स को साथ में नहीं रखते. So that's when Shravan Kumara and his care becomes an ideal, आदर्श बनता है हमारे लिए. तो राम कथा और राम कैसा था, एक और today I will not be talking about the entire Ramayana, which most of us know. I will only be picking out few incidences in Ramayana which can be looked upon in a different perspective, जो अभी इस युग में हमारे लिए करंट इरा में प्रस्तुत है और relevant है. So if you look at Ram's life, he goes to Gurukula when he's 8 years and comes back when he's 16 or so. And he's done with his education. How did he complete? Immediately he completes with all the capacity he has. Even now we see, right, there are some youngsters जो 14 years में, 15 years में degree ले लेते हैं. Ram and his brother, they all fall into that category. And Gurukula system was something unique. It's a residential school where they were all taught minimum 64 varieties of teachings and subjects. He returns back only to be treated well. See, since he is very young, उनका राजकुमार युवराज का भी घोषणा नहीं होता है. So once he comes back, something interesting happens in his life. You won't believe, like many of the teenagers that we see around, Ram also goes through depression. When he was a teenager, he feels bored with life. You know, the same symptoms that we see nowadays. Ram was not feeling hungry. He did not feel like taking bath. He did not feel like eating food. He did not feel like talking to people. And that really scares Dasharatha. Dasharatha बहुत, उनके पिताजी दशरथ महाराज बहुत चिंतित हो जाते हैं. And he immediately approaches their guru, Kulaguru, and the Path Guru, Vasishta. And that's when we get this wonderful teachings of yoga called Yoga Vasishta. The conversation between Rama and Vasishta Rishi goes on for months. Many other great scholars visit only to witness their conversation. And this is in volumes and volumes. Yoga Vasishta, how to control mind, how to identify the challenges in mind, how to address them. If we can know this and give back to society now, give back to the world, that will be the best contribution we, the young generation, the next generation, can do. Moving on, we know about the story where Vishwamitra comes and takes Ram and Lakshman with him. So what does he do? In that journey, he instills confidence in the students, in the disciples, the pupils. So this is a learning lesson for every teacher. Most of the teachers nowadays scare us, our elders scare us. But here was Vishwamitra who instilled confidence, and not just that, preparing for the exam. Now he's taking them for a task. The journey becomes the preparation for executing the task, or teaching Astra and Shastra. वो काम भी विश्वामित्र ऋषि ने किया है. And execution, कैसे execution करना है? If you look at this picture, generally we have this discrimination. Now, how do we punish women? And sometimes we have another section of women who fight for gender equality. In that case, mistake is a mistake made by anybody, right? ये topic तभी उल्लेख हुआ है where Vishwamitra says, if a person is troubling the society, no need to consider the gender. Mistake is a mistake. So see there that even this year's Women's Day theme was this equity and equality. So this was established long back. So Tataka was given her share of punishment for all the evil things that she did, causing trouble to people in the society. Moving on, how children were cared, and that attachment, that love was shown in the entire Ramayana. There's a very popular shloka that goes like this: how a child has to be raised. We have a nice shloka given by Chanakya to all of us. Lalayet panchavarshani, dashavarshani tadayet, prapte tu shodashe varshe, putram or putrim mitravadacharet. So when a child is born, until the child is 5 years, treat that child very royally. Then discipline that child from 5 to 15. Once the child attains 16, start treating that child like a friend. This was seen in Ramayana, and all the decisions that our children, the son took, Ram took, the parents stood by. If you look at the life of Sumitra, she stands by Lakshmana's decision. She says, when you go to the forest, treat Rama as Dasharatha and Sita as me, and then you do your duty. Which mother can say nowadays? All of us compare and we complain about discrimination and not giving fair treatment. But we always forget our responsibility and contribution. So they all remind us for this and encouraging them to tread the path. बाद में जब उनका वनवास आरंभ होता है, the steps that Sita takes, the decision she makes that she will follow Rama is, not very easy. वो त्यागी है, compromise है. What did she compromise? She compromised for all the royal facilities that she had received since her birth, and she got ready to go. Not knowing about definitely challenges के बारे में तो नहीं पता था, फिर भी उन्होंने ये challenge लिया कि हमको साथ रहना है. तो that the गृहस्थ आश्रम का वो एक नियम बनता है. When you commit to a partner, you commit without any conditions, and you are there with that partner at all times. अंडरस्टैंडिंग, ये सब जब हम राम सीता को देखते हैं तो ये सब हमको अनुभूति करने में मिलता है. मेनी ऑफ अस थिंक दैट राम सीता ओनली स्ट्रगल्ड अ लॉट. ऐसा नहीं है. देयर स्ट्रगल वाज अ वेरी शॉर्ट पीरियड कंपेयर्ड टू देयर लिविंग टुगेदर. And in some of the places, they say that Ram even dressed Sita. He, made her hairstyle. If you see all those things, sometimes don't we feel that even we should have a partner like Ram? Then is when Ram has to be looked up like that. Otherwise, हमारा हर बार एक दो ही प्रश्न आता है कि ये ऐसा राम ने ऐसा क्यों किया, ये कैसा हुआ. We will come to those questions, but पहले एक स्टोरी लाइन तो देख लेंगे. हमारा जो रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, जो जिम्मेदारी है, हमको वो डेफिनेटली पालन करना है और पूर्ण भी करना है. लेटिंग गो, जो नहीं है हमारा वो छोड़ देना है. वो पकड़ के रखने से फायदा नहीं है. इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू हेल्प अस एनीवेयर. ये सोच के थोड़ा आगे बढ़ेंगे. एंड जब वो वन में थे, द वे व्हेन बलराम अप्रोचेस, how he was treated and how he was sent back, because prana jaya par vachana na jaya, we know this, it is very popular. And how a lot of tests come to us, but it's our capacity that we have to move further. I have shared a poem in Kannada. Definitely we have a lot in Hindi and other languages. The meaning of this is Bharata goes back and starts ruling on behalf of Rama. Ram Paduka rakhe. And there is a poem which says, when Ram comes back, it seems he gives him a report of the past 14 years of how the treasury was and how it got increased, how everyone is living happily. So more than happily, how he has fulfilled his responsibility. Then he hands it over. That sense of responsibility, I think all of us should remember Bharata. Moving on, what happens next, we know in Ramayana, where Sita gets abducted and taken away by Ravan. So in Ramayana, we see ideals, Adarsh. Hum animals, birds, सब में देखते हैं. Like we have all the stories across the globe, stories of animals, birds, plants talking. So here we had Jatayu, who tries his best, that commitment, that real fighting spirit to keep up the promise. And above all, एक विषय के लिए, एक कारण के लिए प्राण समर्पण करना, dying for a cause. If a bird can do, how come we all cannot do? And if you look at our freedom movement, millions of youngsters from 4 years to 100 years sacrifice their lives हमारे भारत, हमारे देश के स्वातंत्र्य के लिए, for the independence of our nation. So moving on, we come across, after Sita is abducted, Ram and Lakshman come across this wonderful personality called Shabari. Now, Shabari is not a name of a woman. If you look at the original Ramayana, that tribe community, that tribe which was good in identifying sweet fruits, they were called as not just fruits, very many other things in the forest. The girl in that community was called as Shabari, and a boy in that community was called as Shabara. How can we know all these things? Going back to the roots, reading the originals. And Shabari with her guru, Matanga Rishi, takes this vow of serving everyone and waiting for Ram and giving him the best. So all this patience, waiting, the concept of Atiti Devo Bhava is all depicted in this one incident or the story of Shabari and the way Rama receives. See, most of us have this challenge. When we meet an old friend, if that friend, if you're not comfortable with that status, we end up matching. But look at Rama. He depicts his simplicity and unconditional love and affection, irrespective of all that caste, creed, and division. Here also I have shared another poem by a very popular poet of Karnataka, DVG. So those who can read, but the meaning is what I shared with you as I'm going through this slide. Moving next, we have a friend in need is a friend in need. So what happens next? Ram meets Sugriva through Hanuman, and Hanuman is a wonderful character in the entire Ramayana. So what happens with Hanuman, we will see. But if you look at this picture, how Rama promises Sugriva is all these words that they keep it as true. With all this, Ram keeps up to his words. वो कभी किंगडम के अंदर राज्य के अंदर नहीं गए किसी के घर के अंदर नहीं गए because he was following this promise that he had made of vanvas for 14 years. And then we had Hanuman, a wonderful personality. And with Hanuman, we will come to Hanuman later. Now, if you see these birds, we have Jatayu and Sampati. They both are brothers. And, eagle or this vulture family, they are all known to fly high. And especially this bird called eagle, which is called as king of birds. What is special about them is they can fly higher than the clouds when it is raining. So when they both had a competition, Jatayu, the younger one, tries to reach as high as possible, forgetting that he is nearing sun. Now the elder brother, Sampati, protects him by flying over him. And then that's when Sampati's wings get burnt and he falls near the ocean of Lanka. And that's how we know the story where he gives the idea of where Sita is and moves on. And if you look at the Samudra Manthan, now comes Hanuman. Hanuman is known as an epitome of how an ideal sevak should be. So I'm not using the word servant because servant is not the equal translation of this word sevak or seva. Seva is something that is done voluntarily. So sometimes we use the sevak word for very many other places. Aisa nahi hua tha. So when Hanuman was thinking, now how do I achieve this responsibility of finding Sita? Here comes Jambavan. There, he resembles or he replicates the role of many of our elders, our senior friends, our peers in our growth. जैसे हमारे जीवन में, they come and remind us of our capacity. That's what happened here. Moving further, we see Hanuman, how he completely surrenders to that one cause. And he just is thinking of Ram and that one task that he has to do. Again, I have shared one poem. Those who can read Kannada can read. What the meaning? The poem says is Hanuman always was one with that one task of his to find Sita and pass on the message back to Rama. So even when he was caught by Ravana, he did not forget that he took pride in being Ramadut. And how he created fear in the enemy. So he comes back and gives this information of Sita to the entire team that was waiting. Moving on, we see how the bridge gets constructed. And we all know that Nala and Nila were the best engineers in the entire team of Vanaras. So if you look at Ram's life, he was human, a normal human being personified. So he did not use any extra strength or any extra power. So he just went walking through and making an army, building an army, going through all the struggles, and definitely establishing all relationships. And of course, Samadana Bheda Danda, there is a waiting period which should not be extended. So he has patience only to a certain level. Then he knows how to execute his strength and get things done. All these things we see in Ramayana. The picture that you are seeing is the picture of Samudra Raja. So where even he is, kind of threatened or challenged that if you don't support me or facilitate me in building a bridge, then you will be a threat. That was the strength Rama had. and we need to inculcate from him. Now, when this bridge was getting constructed, we know that many other animals supported. The popular story that we know is Gilaharika, squirrel story. So in South India, there is a saying, most of the time when we want to contribute something, we say, thoda to hum de dete hain, and we say in Kannada, alilu seve. That means Gilahari jaise bana kiya, utna hi kar rahe. अगर गिलहरी अभी रहती हमारा बात सुनती, so the squirrels would file a case against us, it would file a suit against us, क्योंकि the squirrel did something to its fullest capacity. It used to dip itself in the ocean, come and roll on the sand, and then go back to where the bridge is getting constructed, and then drop all the sand granules that was stuck on the body of the squirrel. So, itna, like, giving more your fullest is the example that when we read the story of squirrel. So when I look at this story, कभी-कभी हम थोड़ा काम करके squirrel को compare करते हैं अपने आप को, but that never happened in this story or this contribution of squirrel. Irrespective of how much you can give your fullest is the message that we all have to take. Moving forward, any marriage in our system is not just between two individuals. It is between two families, and it is for the welfare of the entire society. So that was taught to us by the Ram and Sita's marriage, the Vivaha of Ram and Sita. And as you know, what is taught or what is talked about our culture, ये हमारा संस्कृति culture यानी क्या होता है. So if you look at all these quotes, India is is one country. यहाँ पे बहुत भाषाएं हैं, बहुत मत है, और संगीत में संस्कृति है, प्रवचन में संस्कृति है, इतिहास में संस्कृति है, साहित्य में संस्कृति है. And I'm again sharing two quotes by Mark Twain and Sir William Jones, जो हमारे देश के बारे में, हमारे इतिहास के बारे में, संस्कृति के बारे में, ज्ञान भंडार के बारे में बताते हैं. And I would let you read as it's in English. ऐसे मैं इंग्लिश में, हिंदी में कह रही हूँ. जैसे कि भारत पूरा संस्कृति का जन्म स्थान है, और इतिहास की जननी है, और ग्रैंड मदर ऑफ लेजेंड, जैसे हम कथाएं सुनाते हैं, वो दादी है कथाओं की और संस्कृतियों की. Now moving to Ramkatha and its impact and influence across the globe. ये चित्र अगर आप देखेंगे तो इंडोनेशिया के करेंसी में आप गणेश जी को देख सकते हैं. वहाँ के मॉन्यूमेंट्स में राम, भगवत गीता और Garuda Indonesia. So their airlines has the symbol of Garuda. Garuda, as I was talking to you, flies high, and the name also they have kept it as it is. They have not translated it to their language. So Garuda is kept as Garuda. Moving forward, if you look at this picture where we are talking about Cambodia, Cambodia is known for temples, and one of the largest temple in the whole world is in Cambodia. And there, lot of plays, dramas happen in the name of Ram, Ramayana and Sita. They all get different names. As we move forward, I will talk. यहाँ पे एक और चित्र आप देख रहे हैं. तो वहाँ के एक नदी को मेकोंग रिवर कहते हैं, और माँ गंगा का एक चेंज्ड वर्जन उनके भाषा में होता है. एंड बाली का एक एम्बलम आप देखेंगे तो शांति 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 3 बार लिखा है, और बाली इज ऑल्सो नोन एज लैंड ऑफ टेम्पल्स. इतने मंदिर है वहां के, हर शैली के मंदिर हमको देखने को और अनुभूति, वहां जाने के बाद वहां की अनुभूति करने को भी मिलता है. मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, दिस इज वन ऑफ माय फेवरेट थिंग टू. यहाँ एक आप देखेंगे क्या है, इन मलेशिया, इवन नाउ इट्स एन right now it's an Islamic nation, but irrespective of whoever the king is, जब वहाँ उनका oath ceremony होता है मलेशिया में, they take in the name of Ram, Uri Sein Seri Paduka करके. So they have the Paduka of Ram. They believe that Ram, even in spite of Ram giving us a wonderful rule, जब भरत राज्य आडलित करता था तब और अच्छा था, और they follow that, वो समर्पणा भाव से करना है. So that's when they take the oath in the name of Ram. And if you look at some of the emblems they have used, they all reflect Rama and Ramayana and our culture and Sanskriti. Lufthansa Airlines is another word taken by the name Lufthansa. Hamsa means what do you say? It's the swan. And Lufta. So as the aeroplane is flying, sometimes it gets hidden or it becomes invisible behind a cloud. That's when it looks like as if a swan is taking the shape of a cloud and flying. Hence, they have chosen this name as Lufthansa for their airlines. Moving further, if you look at what is happening here, India's culture in the Americas. America is not just USA, the whole of North America and South America. So here we see this very popular writer of America who says, Bharat is the Janmasthan hai for the entire humanity. Manavatva ki janmasthan hai. The same thing, mother of history, grandmother of legend. I'm repeating that. And how our traditional style of eco-friendly nature के साथ हमारा जीवन जो बनता था, how it was friendly. अभी हम देख रहे पूरे विश्व में vegan होना और getting to that simple style of living. हमारे आहार पद्धति में बदलाव लाए हैं हमने. So, but they all reflect our ancient style of living. Now, if we go back, entire universe relevance of Ramayana. तो रामायण का राम कथा का प्रभाव पूरे विश्व में था. कितने देशों में था, यहाँ लिस्ट एक दिया है. I tried my best to put this list together. कंबोडिया में रेमकेर कहते हैं कंबोडिया के राजा को. So that has come from Ram. They have taken that name by Ram. And if you look at the country's name, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, China, Korea, Japan, Mongolia, Siberia, Tibet, Burma, अभी का लंका, नेपाल, पाकिस्तान, Turks, Arabs. So if you look at रामायण में कैकेयी कहाँ से आती है, is from the current Afghanistan or little more beyond Afghanistan. That's the geographical place from where Kaikeyi comes. And even in Mahabharata, they say Shakuni, Gandhari. The Gandhar Desh is also the current, Afghanistan or beyond that, the Middle East countries. So all these geographically show that Ram was never restricted to Bharat or just one continent. The influence, the prabhav was spread more than what the geographical limit that we are seeing today. And again, moving on to Ramayana's influence in very many other countries, Bhumipal कहते हैं. और राम को थाईलैंड में or any king of the country is called as Bhumipal. And the place, it seems in Thailand, the capital of Thailand had for some time name as Atulya. That means Ayodhya का एक changed version है. Or there is this place called Laupuri in Thailand, which is named after the son of Rama, that is Lava. And one point I really want to make a note. Now we all know in Olympics and even in our country, this is very popular, kickboxing. So it seems this form of skill and form of martial arts is originally taken from the art form or the style that Vali and Sugriva used to do. So when they were fighting, they had this one style of wrestling is this kickboxing. Now it has gotten this name kickboxing. But initially, if you go back to history, it seems it was taken from the fighting skills between Vali and Sugriva. Now looking at this entire Asian societies में कैसे हुआ है राम कथा का प्रभाव और influence. So we had lot of tattoos. We had Hanuman was always reflected as a person of strength and valor and protection. जैसे हम Spider-Man सब देखते हैं. On the lighter note, when I was in USA, one of our friends used to tell, ये Spider-Man, He-Man सब है ना, उन सबका बाप है हनुमान करके. So definitely, if you look back, Hanuman depicts that person of strength and fearlessness, as Swami Vivekananda tells us. Asian Games 1997 में Hanuman was used as a mascot, as a symbol of strength and bravery. Cambodia mein, like as I was telling you, always they had this Rama name attached to the person who becomes the leader of the nation, who becomes the ruler of the nation. So all these things keep reflecting as to how Ramkatha, the influence of Ramayana spread towards everywhere. Moving further, how Ramayana was taken in the West. So some incidences I have shared. In 2007, there was a drama or a play that was put up, which ran with packed audience in Canada. And then Ram Navami was celebrated in London, UK, where you see 240 guests had attended. And USA mein I have also lived in USA, and I was part of this Hindu Sangam, which started from 2001. That's the first time we experimented with a play called Ramayana. And our inspiration was this Ramayana story, which we took from our country, of course. And we made sure that children contribute in every field. So we had more than 300 children that participated. And even now, during Hindu Sangam, this Ramayana, this Ramkatha is played by the children of our origin that are born and raised in USA, America. Then later, like we know, Abhi Kaun Banega, Crorepati hai. But we took that idea and we started this unique event called Kaun Banega Ramayana Expert. And we had hundreds and thousands of students that participated across the 50 states USA में, and they won prizes. हम प्राइज भी ऐसे ही रखे थे, उनके लिए एक नोटपैड मिलेगा, एक लैपटॉप मिलेगा, and they participated really well. So these are some of the incidences that I wanted to share. And moving on, something about a bank and a currency that released in the name of Rama or Ram, global currency of world peace. So you could buy this currency of Ram with a US dollar, is what this with that intention ये हुआ था Netherlands में. एंड न्यूयॉर्क में फिलीपींस के तरफ से एक डांस ड्रामा हुआ था इन 2000 विच वाज स्टेज्ड इन न्यूयॉर्क. तो हमारे जनरली ये राम और राम कथा पूरा इतिहास हाउ वाज इट डिपिक्टेड इन द फॉर्म ऑफ डांस, ड्रामा और पपेट शो, कठपुतलियों के रूप में. तो राम जैसे भारत में हम दिखाते हैं वैसे नहीं शायद दिखता था, पर जो मैसेज है, जो आदर्श है, जो गुण है, वो सब उस कथा में, उस ड्रामा में और पपेट शो, कठपुतलियों के रूप में से आ जाता था. एंड वेरिएशंस डेफिनेटली थ्रू सेंचुरीज कथा का वेरिएशन तो बनता ही है. अगर हम ही एक खेल खेलेंगे कि मैं एक 10 सेंटेंस आपको बताऊं, तो अगर चंद्राला passes it on to श्रीदेवी, some change will happen. If Sridevi passes it on to Sneha, some change might happen. So that's what has happened. You might find some changes, but the crux, the root, the ideals, the adarsh remain the same, is what we get to see. And we also see that Ramayana has gotten a translation हुआ है अनेक भाषाओं में, और संस्कृत से इवन अरेबिक भाषा में हुआ है, पर्शियन में हुआ है, हर भाषा में हुआ है translation of the original Ramayana, which was in Sanskrit. Now we see in Hindi, and of course South में Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, हर भाषा में हुआ है. So as I was telling you, हमारा घर में अगर कुछ बच्चों को कहानी सुनाना है, सुनानी है, तो राम और राम कथा से ही शुरू होता है. So most of our traditions live with stories, and that is from our Ramayana and Ramkatha. So Ramayana definitely has no parallel in the world of literature. This is a saying by very many. जैसे ये मेरी कहावत नहीं है, ये बहुत साहित्य scholars, विद्वांसों की कहावत है कि रामायण has no parallel in the world of literature. तो रामायण साउथ ईस्ट एशिया में कैसे पहुंचा? जैसे साउथ भारत, दक्षिण भारत से तमिलनाडु से जब गए थे बहुत लोग, हाउ दे टुक सम सेंटेंसेस एंड पास्ड इट ऑन एंड दे लिव्ड दिस लाइफ. तो जैसे हम जीवन में ये अप्लाई करते हैं तभी वो पास ऑन होते हैं. जैसे कि हमेशा सत्य बोलना है और हमेशा विनम्र भाव से रहना है, ये थोड़े ही हमको सुनने से और कहने से आ जाते हैं. हमको ऐसे जीवन बिताना चाहिए, तब ये पास ऑन होता है. That's what our elders did. So they lived that life. Swami Vivekananda always said, my life is my message. And this next, what we are seeing today, Swami Vivekananda's life, the message was taken over, was completely absorbed and put forth by Bhagini Nivedita. And if you look at her life, she lived that life. She comes from Ireland, stays in Bangladesh, in our Kolkata. She learns Bengali. She worships and वो आराधन करती है काली माँ की. She writes a book on Kali, the mother. She teaches everyone to worship our culture, our knowledge systems, and Bharat Mata, and not to worship anyone else. How could she do this? Is because what she received from her guru. And our parampara, the Sanskriti, is passed on to us by our elders who played the role of guiding us and taking that guru's role in our lives. So as you see, I'm repeating few places. Influence of Ramayana in Thailand. So in Thailand, some of the cities' names were reflecting the names we see in Ramayana. Ayodhya, Atutaya or Atutya was it called as. And the national epic Ramkatha is what is called as Ramkatha. Then in the 14th century, the history goes like this. Cambodian Ramayana was more popular in Cambodia. And of course, in Myanmar, देश में कैसा था? So we see that again, Lava Kusha का influence था, and they had lot of influence in their dance and drama and art forms. How they narrated the story of Rama, that was the life lesson in their entire stories, dramas, dance. And Lao is another country. So Lavapuri, Lava is the name of one of Rama's sons. So Laos, the name it says that is derived from this Lava, that is the name of sons, Rama's son. And Hanuman also is also considered as son of Rama in Malaysia's style of narrating Ramayana. Now temple inscriptions. हर मंदिर में अगर आप जाएंगे तो ध्यान से देखेंगे, ये सब हमको प्रूफ के साथ मिलता है कि वहाँ का इंस्क्रिप्शंस उनकी लोकल भाषा में जो होता है, it is giving proof that yes, they look up to Rama. So that means Rama एक imaginary character नहीं है, वो इतिहास का, हमारे जीवन का, आदर्शों का एक अंग बन जाता है, be it Rama or Krishna. And of course, like you see, in the 9th century, the kings had their influence. एक वर्क हमको मिलता है, वहाँ हनुमान को मंकी किंग कहते थे, तो उनके भाषा में जो कहते हैं, बट द क्रक्स, द समरी रिमेन्स द सेम कि आदर्श, राम का आदर्श, जीवन का आदर्श. As I was telling you, Ramayana is full of ideals. Ideal father, ideal mother, ideal son, ideal brothers, ideal friends. Everything we get to see in ideal husband, ideal wife, so ideal daughter-in-law. Name a relationship, you will get a parallel of ideal instance in Ramayana. Then Ramayana in Japan. So here, there is one very nice movie that we get to see, The Legend of Rama, and even we used it when we had to make a play in USA. So it has received many international awards. It's a wonderfully made, depicted movie of the story of entire Rama. The best part I liked was they have introduced 2 songs in Sanskrit, and that is a hit song in the entire movie. So I suggest that you all should see this movie and see what the movie maker says. वो जो last line में है, he says, "In my mind, I feel I am a Hindu." Hindu in the sense he has taken Rama and Ram's philosophy, Ram's style of living completely in him. So that's the statement that the maker of the movie by name Saga, he gives this statement, in my mind, I feel I am a Hindu. कोरिया और साइबेरिया में भी रामायण का बहुत परिणाम प्रभाव हुआ है, और वर्शंस थोड़ा चेंज होता है. दे बिलीव कि एक राजकुमारी आई थी अयोध्या से और कोरिया के राजकुमार से उनका विवाह हुआ है. So, ऐसा स्टोरी हो जाता है, बट एज आई वाज टेलिंग यू, स्टोरी का भावार्थ और तत्व सेम रहता है, जो होना चाहिए था वही रहता है. नेपाल में भी हुआ है, एंड वी नो दैट द मिथिला देश, द एक्सपेंशन ऑफ वेयर सीता कम्स इज द करंट नेपाल. एंड लाइक यू सी, रामायण महाभारत इतने साल, इतने हजार वर्ष पुराना है, अब तक कैसे जीवित है हमारे आर्ट्स, जैसे हमारे पूर्वजों के स्टोरी टेलिंग स्टाइल में, परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट्स, पपेट स्टोरीज, सॉन्ग्स, ड्रामा. एंड अभी यहाँ के एक देश में, दैट is Malaysia or Indonesia में Ramayana and Mahabharata are made the compulsory subjects and in the universities. Then in the last line, I really take pride. They say that Islam is our religion, but in Indonesia, most of the Indonesians, and they say Ramayana is our culture. ये संस्कृति और culture है ना, ये बहुत महत्व पात्र हमारे जीवन में लेता है. The way we live is our संस्कृति. So if you look at भारत, जैसे तीर्थ यात्रा होता है, शिव राम का जो भक्त है वो तमिलनाडु में भी रह सकता है, अयोध्या में भी रह सकता है, असम में भी रह सकता है, गुजरात में भी रह सकता है, बट भाषा हमको डिवाइड नहीं करती. सो फॉर अस रिलीजन, मोर देन रिलीजन, द तीर्थ यात्रा यूनाइट्स अस. वी माइट फील कि भाषा हमको डिवाइड कर रहा है, बट द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ तीर्थ यात्रा यूनाइट्स अस. सो दैट इज द स्पिरिट बिहाइंड स्पिरिचुअलिटी. स्वामी विवेकानंद सेज हर देश का आत्मा, देश की आत्मा होती है. तो भारत की आत्मा है आध्यात्म, और आध्यात्म के पीछे है हमारा चिंतन और ये तीर्थ यात्रा का कॉन्सेप्ट. So with this, I would like to conclude. Jai Siya Ram.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It has been such an honor to hear from you, Ji. On behalf of Miss Bharat, I extend my gratitude to you, ma'am.